Well, welcome.
Hi. How are you guys?
Good.
Good. Wow, it's so cool that you guys are doing this.
Yeah, it's a lot of fun. We've gotten to meet some people, and you're the first non-distance runner we've been able to catch, and I'm obviously a little more connected in that world. So I'm glad to take advantage of our probably decade-old uh, of knowing each other now. So
Oh, cool. Well, thanks for having me.
yeah,
How many girls are on this Zoom
let's
call?
see. One, two. Well, we got 20 people total, and looks like a lot more females than males today.
Oh, cool. Does your team have guys?
We
They look.
do.
Oh, you
They
do. Oh,
we do. They a lot of them have long hair.
Okay.
Yep. Owen rocking the flow today.
Cool.
Colvey keeping it real for the short hair.
Cool. I wasn't sure when I looked on your website. It just made it seem like you guys only had a women's team.
No, we got both. So
Okay. All right. Cool.
so thanks for joining us today. I'll start off just kind of by asking you some questions, and then hopefully the crew will ask you some as well. But I think we first met each other probably about 10 years ago at Mountain West Championships.
Yeah. I remember
Yeah,
it was rainy, right? In Colorado.
yep, it was Fort Collins, I believe.
Yeah.
Um, but yeah, and then I've known your dad for a while, working with him with Runner Space, um, and I don't know if I think we've only met once or twice, but it seems like we talk all the time.
Yeah.
Um,
Yeah.
so just tell us a little bit about you. You grew up a soccer player and a distance runner, and did the unconventional switch to the multis. Usually people, who start as distance runners or soccer players stay as distance runners. So just talk a little bit about your athletic journey as a youngster.
All right, yeah. I know I saw your roster. You have two heptathletes.
Yeah, and I know at least one of them's on. Morgan, I saw her pop on.
All right, cool. Yeah, well, yeah, I started as a soccer player. I think as most kids do, they play soccer. But I didn't always kind of knew I was fast. And we didn't know much about track and field, so my dad put me in the 5K. We would do these little fun runs every weekend. I ran over 100 5Ks from the age of 10 to 13. Every weekend, my dad would put me in one. And I mean, it was fun. I would like win a medal or something. But then when I got to high school, I joined the track team with my twin sister, and I just wanted to do like the shorter events, I guess. So did the 100-meter hurdles, long jump, and the 300-meter hurdles. So I had to kind of learn to hurdle, and it kind of came naturally to me. I think the first time I ever hurdled, I 3-stepped and didn't like realize that was kind of challenging for other athletes. And my high school was also a dirt track too. So after my freshman year, I had won like a lot of the meets and stuff like that. So I kind of realized like, oh, I guess I am fast. And so my dad got me a private coach, and my private coach was a big time coach in the 80s, and he coached a lot of heptathletes. And so he taught me and a couple other girls. One of them was Kendall Gustafson. I don't know if you guys know who that is, but she went to UCLA, Duke, and then UCLA. We were training partners when we were really young. And yeah, this private coach taught us how to do all the events. And we had to train at Santa Monica High School because our track was a dirt track. So it was really fun. And then I started to get into the club system. And I mean, it's really different. So I coach a lot. I'm also a coach. So I coach high schoolers and some youth athletes. So my biggest advocate is like, you can go to college by sports. Like, I had no clue that was a thing. But you guys are different because you guys are already in college. But that's always what I push for with like the youth athletes is like, there's this whole nother world of like, I don't know, competing outside of your high school, and it really helps you get noticed. And that's how kind of I got noticed.
And then talk a little bit about the decision to stay at San Diego State right there near home, and you had a lot of options, but what'd you gain out of San Diego State?
Well, so I think San Diego State maybe like Lewis and Clark is a really small school, right? But are you guys D1?
We're Division 3.
Division 3, yeah. So, I mean, San Diego State's kind of like a D1B school. So people don't really maybe know it for sports. But I think there's a really big benefit also to going to a school maybe that's not, has like the biggest program or is really like, people may know it as a sports school, because I went to San Diego State for the coach. And I think that was really important. I was recruited by 60 different universities, and I could have gone to a big name school and all that stuff and be a part of a really successful program, but I chose San Diego State because of my coach. And I still am with her 10 years later. So I really think I made a really good decision with going to San Diego State.
So talk a little bit about your kind of transition to the pros and what, how that kind of came about. You did very well in NCAAs and then have continued on, and I've seen you at some of the Thorpe Cup events, most recently, the Germany versus USA multi-battle. But talk a little bit about some of your experiences as a pro and what that's been like.
So I've had like a really, it's been like hard, I guess, to the transition from my college career to becoming pro. A lot of it is stuff that I couldn't control. So like the USA track and field system, when like, I didn't really know this, I guess, until like recently, but like there's different tiered athletes, and that you can like actually become like get some funding from USA track and field. And after I graduated from college, I was always told by Coach Fisher and Coach Poole that I would train with at the Olympic Training Center. But then it wasn't until after I graduated in 2014 that they had changed the rules, and I wasn't able to go there anymore. They like raised the standard. I don't know. So a lot of like my post-collegiate career, even sometimes in college too, like I've always felt like I got the short end of the stick, where like I was so close to something and then I kind of feel like sometimes I'm not treated like the other professional athletes with like according to funding and stuff like that. But so I bounced around a lot. So after I graduated from college, I went to it's called Altus now in Arizona, and didn't quite feel like I fit in. I thought the becoming a professional athlete, like you don't get that much attention anymore from like the coaches. So I really struggled with that, like doing more stuff on my own, I guess, or like not having training partners that like were as nice, I guess, like I had in college. And then after that, I went back to San Diego State with my college coach. And then I had that was awesome year 2016. I feel like it was my best year, even though it's not my PR year, but I did PR that year. I still look back at that year and I was like, wow, that year I really grew a lot. And I think having the experience before at Altus, where I had to learn how to be more independent, really helped me with Coach Burrell. And then I think the biggest thing is I just kind of relaxed. I feel like I didn't have as much pressure, and I really excelled that way. And then I went to the Olympic Training Center for 3 years. I wasn't funded at all. I just decided I needed to have training partners. And so I got to train with Erica Bogard and Annie Kuntz. And it was awesome. I had a really great 3 years. But then lots of like some little drama happened. I don't know. And so I'm back with Coach Burrell. And now this is like the year where the Olympic year, but everything is canceled. So yeah.
Definitely some challenges with that. Talk about, you've been, one of the better heptathletes in America, but it's also an incredibly strong event in America. And, the goals of, getting to you've represented Team USA at Thorpe Cup and some other events, but, that world championship or that Olympic level and those dreams, kind of talk about the decision you made with kind of following your mother's roots.
Okay. So yeah, I competed with the best in the world. Like I've been so grateful and fortunate to have gone to compete at GOTSIS, is one of like the highest meets for the heptathlon, and I've gone to the multi-stars and deca stars. So I have all this experience, and I really have felt like I have been able to keep up with the best of the best. And now like it's the Olympics or the World Championships to kind of like just check it off, you know. Doesn't define me as like an athlete, because I know I'm just as good. But so the reason I am switching to represent Armenia is I don't know if you guys are aware, but all the rules kind of have changed how to qualify for the Olympics. So it's not based off of your like, it's based a lot 50% off of your world rank. So if you don't get the Olympic standard, which they expect 50% of the field in the Olympics to have the Olympic standard, and 50% comes to the world rank. And so someone in the world rank could have a higher you can have a higher score than someone, but they'll take someone that has been to a different meet than you and placed higher. So it's really complicated. So one of the other reasons why I switched countries, and I'll talk about the drama that kind of happened with the Olympic Training Center, was I was selected to be a part of the Pan Am team in 2019. And my training partner, one of my best friends, she filed a lawsuit against USA Track and Field to take my position, or knowing it would take my position. And she ended up winning. It took 39 athletes off the team, and I was one of them. And it's kind of just ridiculous, like how USA Track and Field like couldn't like write the rules right. And so that's how people were able to sue them. And so I just rather be a part of like a system where, you know, I feel I will get supported. And like in the past, I maybe would have frowned upon people that had switched countries because it might have been easier. But since the Olympic rules have changed, if you're there, you're meant to be there, because you've gone to the system is a lot harder. I don't think they have a rule where they can just take, if your country is small enough, they can take an athlete. But
yeah, and it's you know, I've actually coached an athlete who ended up representing a different country that his, you know, parents were from, and so having gone through that as a coach and seeing someone make that decision, it definitely doesn't devalue, you know, that you're trying to chase that dream. You know, in some ways you could say, if someone wanted to choose a different school than another school, would it make it easier? So it definitely doesn't. It's still that highest level. And like you said, you've competed against those people, and if you deserve to be there, you deserve to be there. So let's talk briefly now about just kind of what you're doing now that the Olympics have kind of shifted. You know, what did that do to your season, and kind of how have you adjusted to the change?
well, I don't know. It's been a really strange time, I'm sure, for all of us. But right when I think the biggest thing was when San Diego State was at the NCAA Indoor Championships, and then they couldn't compete. Then we kind of realized, like, oh, wow, like this is actually happening. And I think the next week, the track closed. So I haven't been on a track for a really long time. So that's been very weird. And so right now I have just been running, just distance running, back to like what I've kind of started with.
5Ks. Virtual 5Ks every weekend.
Yeah, I run like 6 miles a day. It's really, and I run with so I have a friend who I used to coach cross country with. I was a cross country coach at a local high school, and we just run together. And we're kind of saying, we just know we're only seeing each other, so kind of, I don't know, maybe breaks a little bit of the social distancing rule, but it's been really nice. We've done like a lot of interesting workouts that I've never done before, and I've always wanted to do.
Are there any, what are some of those interesting workouts, or what are some of the things that you're kind of being creative with right now?
Yeah, so yesterday we did, Nick, what was it called? A descending progression run. So we did 5 miles, and the first one we ran at 9 minutes, and then it was 8:30, 8 minutes, 7:37, and then we did like a mile cool down. That was intense because I held on until the last mile. I couldn't do 7-minute mile for the 5th mile, so I did like 7:50, I think. But that was really fun. I kind of I kind of like really admire distance runners, since I think that's what I started with. So and I really follow them. And I want to kind of do what they're doing. Sometimes I wonder if I could be a distance runner. But another workout we did was repeat 800s, where just like around the block, whatever. Or I think like repeat 700s. Then we kind of like jogged the 100 or something, and then we just did it 6 times. We did super steep hills, like 400-meter hills. It was like, dang, 10 of them. And I don't know, it's been really fun mixing it up.
Well, you answered my next question. What's your favorite event to do? Clearly, it's being a distance runner. But what of all the events, you kind of get to try them all. Which do you enjoy the most? Do you have a favorite, or?
Yeah, I think it's hurdles.
Okay.
Definitely hurdles. I love all the running events. So yeah, the hurdles. I like the 200. I like long jump, and I like the 800. So my weaknesses are more of the high jump and shot put. Yeah.
Last question I have. So if students, if you guys have some questions, get ready to fire them away. But if you could talk a little bit about how much you trained, like while in college, like what was your, day in the life of Allison? How much did you train as a heptathlete?
I did a lot. I don't think I was like the other athletes at my school. So
no, because not many of them are trying to make the Olympics right now. So
yeah.
What were some of the things you did like on a daily basis? Single days, double days. Just kind of run us through what a day might look like for you.
Yeah. So in the fall, we had practice at 6:30 a.m. and we would do our running. So we would start. My coach would put cones on the grass, whatever, or like a 200-meter track or something, and we would run like 300s or 250s and like probably 9 of them or something. And then we would lift after. So I think we would be there from 6:30, and then we would have class at 9. So we had to get out around like 8:45, and then I would come back at 2:00, and I would do event work. So in the fall, I would do throwing events, so like shot put and javelin. And then when we start to get closer to spring, or probably like maybe actually 3 weeks or a month before our first meet, like the inter squad meet in December, we would start doing hurdle drills and stuff like that. But my coach really, I was more of like the distance runner, so I would run a lot in the fall and even in the spring. Compared to other athletes she has coached now, like they're not running as much. So, but sometimes I would practice for like 7 hours. Like I always kind of joke around, like my major in college was track and field, and I minored in kinesiology. Like I would skip class to practice. And I would get the work in and stuff like that, like the schoolwork in, but I would definitely skip class. Like my senior year, I had to take an elective. I took bowling. Like that was one of the electives I had to take, like an activity class or something. And I got a C in bowling because I didn't show up at one day. I don't know. I don't know if this is good for your athletes to hear, but I don't know. I mean, graduated.
Dedication to a craft. We'll put it that way.
Yeah.
No, I think you hit on it. What was important to you, you got done, and you have your degree now, and
what I want to do is coach. So like, I think they get more experience actually. I learned so much from actually just practicing and like being around my coaches.
Yep, definitely. Yeah. I'm going to open it up to the team. Are there any questions anybody would like to ask? Feel free to just unmute yourself and ask away.
Is there a way I can see everyone? I only see like 5 people.
In the upper right, there's a option to click gallery view, and that should make everybody little.
Oh, okay. Wow, I'm talking to a lot of people.
So now you can see everybody who's not asking a question. Morgan, you go first. You're on my little screen, so. And
okay. Hello.
Hi.
Like what point did you like realistically think like I could become a professional athlete? Like I know like when you're little, like that's like what everyone wants to do, but like when you're like you stop looking for a job because you're like I can just be a professional athlete.
I think I always just knew I wanted to do something with running, but I think it's really cool how the college system is kind of integrated somewhat with the pros, because even though I'm like professional now, like I still compete against college athletes. So when I was a collegiate athlete, I would compete against professional athletes, and sometimes I would beat them. And so I think the first time I realized like I want to keep doing this, because I kind of got to know some of the professional athletes I raced against, was when in 2012 when I made the Olympic trials, when I was 19, and I just was there. Like, I would go to USA's every year, and I just kind of felt like I belonged there and I could keep going. So yeah, it was, yeah, probably just because it kind of fell into my lap, I guess, just because of the system. What about you? So you do the heptathlon, right?
Yeah, I do. And I also started as a distance runner, which is fun.
Awesome. How has it been for you with this weird time? So many events, so like I'm struggling with, I can't hurdle or shop. I can't do that much stuff.
Yeah, it was disappointing since like I didn't really do any of the events in high school. Like I just ran distance, like I high jumped sometimes, but like I didn't know how to hurdle. I never like even touched a javelin before. So, and then my first 2 years I also ran cross country for the college. So the first 2 years were really just like learning events. And then last year was the first year I felt like I could compete. And then
Are you a senior now?
Yeah, I'm a senior.
What happens in that situation? What is with the coronavirus?
Like it moves so fast from like this meet is canceled to the season suspended to the season's canceled. Like that all happened in like a few days. So
do you get another year?
I did get another year, but like my major is finished. So I'd have to like withdraw from a class and then retake it.
Let's see. Are you gonna do that?
Probably not. I thought about it for a while, but there's like, I don't know. It was just like, that's a lot.
So what are you gonna do? Since for the seniors out there, like your season is kind of, it's over. And if you didn't plan on continuing to run after college, are you gonna, there's so many other meets out there, like you don't have to become a professional runner to compete still, which is a kind of cool thing about track and field. But are you going to continue to try to just keep training and just have fun with it after, or you feel like, okay, that was it, like that, what happened?
Well, for me, I think I'm definitely going to try to compete a little bit more. I like put a lot of unneeded pressure on myself, so it might be good to like be able to compete like for fun.
Yeah. Okay, that's cool.
Yeah, I'm kind of in the same boat where I transferred in as a sophomore. I didn't compete my freshman year, so I actually have 2 years of eligibility left. So my part of me is like, oh, if I went to grad school or got a master's or a PhD, I might be able to compete. If I did D3 or even coming back to Lewis and Clark, because we have a master's program. But it's been, Campbell knows because I called him very upset the other day, where I'm like, what do I do now? Like, do I keep training? And I mostly have been like sprinting on the sidewalk, much to the chagrin of my shins. But just trying my best. I'm a high jumper, and that's like hard to replicate unless I want to like break my bed frame. But yeah, part of me is just like, I don't really like want to stop doing this thing that I love, but also being able to explore other things as a senior. So I'm kind of in a limbo, and I don't know if other seniors feel that way.
I'm sure. I think you should keep going. You should get your master's and try to run, because that's the hardest thing. I've kind of too, like, there's not really, like, you can keep running after college, like there's a bunch of open meets, but there really isn't a group of people that like don't, like, are not considered like professional or compete at a super high level, but like for them to train, like what group do you kind of go? Because there's only youth clubs, and there's like the collegiate clubs, and there's masters clubs, there's no clubs for people that are in this, just want to do it for fun.
Mm-hmm.
I was gonna say I'm also a senior with 2 years of eligibility because I studied overseas, but like I'm definitely not like I want to graduate. I don't. It'd be like a lot of money to stay at school, and I'm going to do like med school, so I wouldn't get an opportunity to compete in grad school. So I've been reaching out. There's some like local clubs, at least in Portland, that are like there's some like elite clubs that aren't professional, but we're still competitive. So I've reached out to some of those, and once like the COVID's over, I've lined up to like go meet them and run with them and see like if I can join any of the teams just to like still get to compete and run. But yeah, it's been hard.
Yeah, good for you. I didn't realize you guys are in Portland, so like I'm sure the running community is a lot bigger than here in San Diego.
Yeah.
I recommend doing that. Like find a club, because that's the best part too. Is like what I realized was me trying to figure out where I belong, like what to do after, where to train and stuff like that. Is I really do value like having a team. Like being back at San Diego State right now is like it's so much like you have this team environment where everyone is trying to chase like a championship. Whereas like sometimes you don't get that with like other groups that are professional. Like it's just different. So I really do recommend like if you want to continue to run after college or your season has cut short, is like find a group, find a team.
And definitely a lot of value in having those people around you to, support you.
Yeah.
Edda, you're up. Your question.
Hi, this isn't sports related at all, but I was just curious what your favorite way to consume potatoes was and why.
All right, that's a really good question. My husband and I got an air fryer, and it's the best thing ever. So we air fry sweet potatoes a lot. Was that the right answer? French fries in the air fryer.
There is no wrong answer when it comes
Yeah.
to potatoes.
Okay, well the air fryer is awesome. I recommend everyone getting an air fryer. Cool.
You play that card hard enough, you might get a sponsorship from an air frying company.
I don't think so. I don't know. You have to be like big on Instagram. I'm not that big. I don't put that much effort into it. So.
Other questions?
Yeah, Allison, also a question.
Cool.
Can you talk a little bit about your nutrition that you have as an athlete, and maybe how that looks different now than it did in college, or if it's the same?
So I'm probably not the best person to give advice on nutrition, but in college, since I don't know, I didn't learn to cook that well. Like my mom never really taught me how to cook when I was growing up. So I didn't eat that much in college as I probably should have. My coach was like, you gotta eat, Allison, you gotta eat. I'm like, I don't have a car to go to the grocery store. Like my meal plan is like the cheapest meal plan. But so in college, I don't know how I survived that time of all the workouts I did. But when I graduated, I guess I need to just eat whole foods, like make meals that are the whole ingredient. But now that the season's kind of, there's no meets, whatever, I'm not going to compete this year unless it's for fun at like an all-comers meet. One of my food groups now is Nutella. We went to Costco, got the Nutella. I eat that with every meal. But still just try to, I don't know, like right now I think it's a time where you can kind of take your foot off the pedal and just kind of enjoy life. Eat what you want and make sure you're still eating vegetables. Eat your potatoes. Anyways, yeah, good question. Oh, we have the Run Fast Eat Slow cookbook. So get that, and you
That's
can
a
make.
good one, Shalane.
Yeah, make some food out of that.
What are some of your go-to easy prep meals?
Well, we love the slow cooker too. So right now we're making chicken, like slow cooking chicken for chicken tacos later tonight. I learned how to pickle some vegetable like onions and jalapenos. So we put on everything. At Costco, you can get like these really like pre-made taco meat. We eat a lot of tacos here at my house. I guess. And I love eating oatmeal in the morning. I'm not really like into eating that much eggs and stuff like that. It's just kind of gross, but I will eat eggs sometimes. And what else do we eat? Avocado toast. We love that here. We love avocados.
I'd say that the biggest staple for us is just some kind of meat, and then we would air fry vegetables.
Yeah, some kind of meat, and then we air fry vegetables. It's our go-to. But in competition, my go-to is applesauce. I like live off applesauce during a heptathlon.
How many applesauce packets do you go through in a?
I probably go through 8 a day. Yeah, because it's so hard. I don't know for you guys, but like it's hard for me to eat during when like you're nervous, and so I learned that you can just swallow the applesauce and you still kind of get some food in you. So it's a trick, maybe.
Other questions for Allison?
I have a question. I'm from San Diego too. I was wondering where some of your favorite places to go on runs are.
Oh, cool. Well, since I've been running lately now, we are running in like the neighborhood of La Mesa, super hilly. But I really like Cholas Lake. It's a really beautiful place.
I used to race there.
Oh, really?
Yeah, in high school.
Oh, cool. What high school did you go to?
I went to a private school, the Grauer School. It's like very tiny.
Okay.
But I ran club for a while. I ran Speed to Burn.
Okay, cool. I never heard of any of those. Mm-hmm. But that is awesome. Well, I also like Mission Trails and Lake Murray. Also good spots.
I'll have to check it out. Thank you.
Yeah.
Where's been your favorite place to compete, or most memorable venue, or just some of those kind of things?
My favorite place, what I said earlier is, I don't know if you guys have heard of it, but it's a meet called Gotzis. It's in Gotzis, Austria, but it's this, I was so blessed to like get to be able to compete there, because the first year I competed there, I think I was seated with the lowest score or something, like getting in. But my coach, Chris Mack, he like, I trained with his like the girls like Erica and so like that's so Erica got to go. So then he's like, can I invite one of my other athletes? And so that was really cool. I got to just tag along, and I ended up scoring my PR there, and I took 11th place, which was awesome. And it was just so fun. The town, like, how many people came to watch, Nick? Like 20?
Oh, it had to be at least like 5,000 or 10,000 people.
Like 10,000 people come to watch the heptathlon. It's fun. It's really, really fun. It's only a 6-lane track too, which is a small track. And you have the whole town of Austria coming to watch this meet.
What would you say was like one of your hardest workouts ever, or like most memorable days, from start to finish? What was one of your biggest challenging days?
Well, my hardest workouts are always with Coach Burrell. She just knows what she's the type of coach where I don't know what I'm doing until I get to the starting line. Where all my other coaches, they kind of plan it out and stuff like that. But I don't know if I don't think Coach Burrell like really plans maybe, but she just will just think something up, and I'm like. But my hardest one was I came to practice and I had to run an 800, and like for a heptathlete, I've never ran, which is really weird. Like we never run anything over 600 meters for a workout. I don't know about you guys, but like we do the 800, and I don't run the 800 in practice ever, or anything over 600. So one day I came to practice, I had to run an 800, and then I think I had full rest or something, and then I had to run, I think it was 2 400s with 1 minute rest at race pace. And then I ran faster than race pace, I think. And then my teammates were done. And then my coach comes up to me and goes, you have one more. You have 10 seconds, like get on the line. I'm like, I started crying. I never cried before. And I even said no to her. I was like, no. Like I literally just gave it all I had. And I never talked back to my coach or anything, but that was so hard. I remember like, I don't know, they kind of tried to run with me the last 100 meters, but that was really hard. And another hard workout I had was my freshman year. I don't know what they were doing with me, but I did the 400 hurdles in college too. And I had to run 8 hurdles like 3 times with a weight vest. And my coach like customized these orthotics that they were weighted. And I had weights in my shoes and I was wearing a weight vest. And I really felt like literally a monkey was on my back. Like I felt like I was walking at one point. I'm like, what can't you tell I'm dying? Like, they always push me where I've never had they've never let me stop. So, yeah, super hard. What is your guys' hardest workout?
There's one that we do in the fall. I don't know if it's like our hardest ever, but it's just like the one that comes to mind. We do 12 200s, and it's kind of like how far can you go with like 12, if you can't do all 12, like if you're really about to break something, then you can drop out. But that comes to mind. I don't know Campbell, how much rest was in between those?
90 seconds between the reps and 3 minutes between the sets, 3 sets.
Wow, I've done that workout too. But I love 200s. Their finish line's right there once you get off the line. And the curve kind of like whips you off. Pretty fun. What's another hard workout? You guys miss it now since you can't do it? Is that weird? Yeah.
Someone else did a hard workout.
Yeah, you guys.
How about Madeline? I'll call on you. Your picture's on my screen. What's been one of your hardest workouts?
I was thinking about all those 400s we did. I don't know how many it was, but it was definitely a lot.
Are you a distance runner?
Yeah.
Wow.
I think Etta remembers how many she did that day.
Yeah, I did 29, I think.
You did.
Wow. Wow.
Oh my God, I remember that workout. I couldn't remember what workout you guys were talking about. But
because that workout was so easy for Jen.
It wasn't. I just couldn't remember it.
You just tried to block it out.
Yeah, blocked out, honestly. Anyways.
Sam, Bowen, and I don't know if this is like the hardest workout, but it was our first day of cross country, like our freshman year, and the workout was 3,200s. And so we're like tiny little freshmen, like what is happening?
Welcome to college.
I remember I was so stubborn. Like, they only really expected the freshmen to maybe get to like 18, but I was like, no, I need to get to 30. And I got to 27. I was so close.
Of 200s?
Yeah.
Wow. That's a lot. Cool, that's impressive.
Who's the toughest person to compete against? I know obviously anybody you're around, you're kind of challenged in different ways in different events, but who's someone that kind of sparks that competitiveness within you a little bit more when you see them?
That's a good question. I don't know. Well, I really enjoyed competing against Erica Bogart. I don't know if you guys know her, but she's also like the not typical. What I've noticed like with some of these really, really elite athletes is they don't care. Like Erica could not care at all about track and field. And she like every day at practice, she'd be like, I want to go home. I'm like, you live here. Like, what do you mean? And, but she was always fun to kind of compete against because in practice I would beat her lots of times, but she wasn't trying. And then at the meet, she would just run this crazy fast time. You're like, where did that come from? Like, what are you doing? But it's kind of a surprise with her. But I enjoy competing with her because she doesn't take it that seriously. So it's kind of nice to be around athletes that it's not like life or death, It's kind of nice to just kind of enjoy to compete,
Yeah.
But
anybody else have a question?
I was kind of just curious, what would you say is like the biggest obstacle you faced in your running career, and how have you been able to overcome that?
I guess it was really hard for me, like this past season when my training partner like filed that lawsuit with USA Track and Field. Like that was really hard because I didn't know that she did that, and my coach knew too that she was doing that. They didn't tell me. So for a long time, I was like, I'm on the team, and then they were doing all this stuff. So that was really hard to overcome. But I do believe that it really did happen for a reason, because I was able to train back at San Diego State, because one of the things is like I really loved my training partners at the center, like Erica and Annie, but I just felt like Coach Mack wasn't that great of a coach for me, and so it kind of gave me the push to leave Coach Mack and then be back with my college coach, who like I know really supports me no matter what and is always there for me. And then also gave me the opportunity to represent another country, because if I competed in the Pan Am Games, I wouldn't, you're not allowed to switch countries for 3 years. It's kind of ended up being a blessing in disguise. But that was really a hard obstacle. And then maybe also another time that I can remember that was probably the hardest was when I was a sophomore in college. I had broken the school record in the heptathlon. And then and I was only heptathlete like that at my school for the first 2 years I was there. And then the third year, like other heptathletes wanted to come to the school, which was awesome. And my training partner that had come my junior year, she was a freshman. It wasn't like the type of environment like where we were rooting for each other. She was the whole time and every day of practice, she just wanted to beat me. And it was kind of frustrating because sometimes you want to just work on things and you don't want to worry about like racing all the time. And so I always felt like I had to race and stuff like that. So that was really hard. And she ended up breaking the school record that year. And so that was really hard to kind of deal with, because we were kind of like frenemies. And so it was hard to deal with that. Like, that's my teammate. I want to be happy for her, but it's really hard because I know she doesn't maybe really like me. And so the way I maybe overcame that was I just had to have faith that like I knew like at the biggest me I could put it together. And kind of my saying that I would say to myself and my coach was like, hard work beats talent when talent doesn't work hard. And I'm such a hard worker. Like I don't think I'm necessarily the most gifted athlete, like especially at my level now. And I just know like I have to put in the hard work, and no matter what, if you keep working hard, like you will see the reward. So I think with anything, just work hard, even like through injury. Like I've been thankful enough I haven't been injured my whole career, like where it's taking me out of anything. So like just even in those little injuries, or you get an injury, you just have to work hard, work smarter, that you can come back, because there's multiple ways, different ways to get to the same goal or to win. That was a good question. What event do you do?
I run the 110 hurdles and the 400 hurdles.
Oh, cool.
Yeah. I've always joked with my coach about running steeple. So when you were talking about how you run distance, I sent him a message and was like, oh, maybe I should run steeple.
Yeah, I did that. We went to Boise a couple weeks ago when this kind of everything shut down, to visit my husband's sister, and their track was open in Idaho. And so for fun, we saw how many laps we can do with like the hurdles, like a steeplechase race. But it was fun. It was definitely hard. I think the altitude was hard, but you should do it. Try something different. I think the steeplechase is really underrated, and like anyone can be good at it. Like there's not that many people that do it. So if you already run distance, might as well do an event that maybe not that many people do, and you can probably be successful.
Yeah, maybe. We'll see. Thank you for answering the question, by the way.
You're welcome.
Does anybody else have a question? I guess, Allison, I'll ask one kind of final question then. You kind of took training very, very seriously in college, and it sounds like you don't necessarily have any, regrets, like, oh, I wish I would have done this. But what's, I guess, a piece of advice for the collegiate athletes, as far as what to make of their college experience and how to take advantage of it?
I say, like, I really believe like just invest in your team and invest in being on the team. I think a lot of people regret not like say when you're in college, like you might want to be pulled to like partying or like joining a sorority. I don't know if you guys have a Greek life at your school, or just like staying up later or whatever. But I think what I've talked to other athletes like that have retired, or like just parents of the athletes I coach, they always regret like, I wish I had tried harder. Like, I wish I went to, like, I listened to my coach, or I wish I had done like the workouts, like I was more prepared for my workouts and stuff like that. Just really invest in this time, because it's a really unique opportunity that you guys have to be on a team and race, you know, at this in the collegiate level. And so I would just take full opportunity of that, because I think that's something a lot of people can regret, is that they didn't give it their all. Because you all can only be an athlete for so long, pretty much, you know, and like this is the time to really invest in that. You can party and stuff and do all the other stuff after you graduate, like it will still be there, but track and field and the team is not always going to be there.
Well, thank you so much for your time. We really appreciate getting to know you a little bit better, and you know, we look forward to cheering you on when competition resumes. Yeah, thank you. I have one more question. So since you guys are at home, are you as a coach, are you writing them workouts to do, or like what are you guys doing for your workouts? I'm the cross country coach, so we kind of have that next season more immediately on tap. We've shifted some of our training to kind of a pre-summer kind of training through the same time period that they would have been training for track, and then they'll still take a little bit of a break before we start the real summer training in earnest. All right, good. Coach Campbell's on here too, so I'll let him jump in about the tracksters.
Yeah, we pretty much moved into our kind of transition period. So we take a transition period every year between the end of our season and prepping for kind of that general prep for the next year. They have workouts that they can do, and students on the team have reached out depending on their situation, but the time right now is very uncertain. So I think right now we're just trying to take our time to just kind of focus on other things, and once we know what the future looks like, then we'll kind of shift our focus. That's good. It's really cool you're doing this. That you have, I think one of the best things a coach can have is communication with their athletes. That's one thing Coach Brill lacks. So like this time has been like, I've not talked to her. I've talked to her like probably twice, but her biggest skill is she's a really good coach when, you know, she's there. But yeah, this is so cool that you guys are doing this and you guys invited me to be on this call. Well, yeah, thank you again for your time. We enjoy kind of getting to know you more and getting to know more about the sport, and as much as you're a professional athlete and have these amazing experiences, some of them are very similar to what our students are going through, and so it's cool for them to be able to see the similarities as well, and be able to get some advice from you. So thank you very much, Allison. Thank you. Who do you have next? Or did you talk to Jenny Simpson already? Next week, we're talking on Wednesday with Danny Lopez. He was an Olympian steeplechaser from the 80s and 90s, I believe. And then on Thursday, we're going to be talking with Grant Holloway. Oh, wow. You guys are lucky. This is so cool. You guys are doing this. Well, thank you very much. We appreciate it, and hope you enjoy your tacos tonight. Yeah, thank you. Have a good rest of your evening, and I'll be cheering for you guys too. All right. Thank you, Allison. Okay, bye.
Thank you.
Thank you.